Hi, my name is Marta Copin. I'm in third year international relations, pursuing a minor in French.
My name's Megan, and I'm a fourth year English major with a minor in history.
As a first-year student, I traveled with Alternative Spring Break to New Orleans to help victims of Hurricane Katrina in building houses for Habitat for Humanity. And then last summer, so it was my summer of second year, I traveled to both Mwanza, Tanzania and Arusha, Tanzania, our main project being in Arusha. So we were in charge of starting up a new probiotic yogurt kitchen to be run by local women. So my first couple weeks in Mwanza were spent doing training for the people who'd be in charge of the kitchen in Arusha, and kind of getting a general idea of how the kitchen is run ourselves. And then when we went to Arusha, it was more business startup, securing funding, getting a lab, finding a women's group and a location, and that sort of thing.
Well, I participated in ASB in my first year to Peru, which was a phenomenal experience. And last year I participated in a course at Western that was actually run through the French department, and it was called Rwanda Society, Culture and Reconstruction. And so what that did was it really took classroom learning. We learned a lot about the history, including the genocide and women's issues and health and things like that. And as part of the course, we did a 4-week volunteer trip to Rwanda, where we actually got to experience those things and kind of put our learning to use. So there was 3 different volunteer placements that we participated in while we were there. There was 2 orphanages, one which was actually set up for survivors of the genocide by the Anglican Archbishop, which was a great opportunity to really see not only the problems and the things affecting the poor there, but how Rwanda is working towards rebuilding after the genocide. The other one, we were teaching English to primary students, which is really great considering that Rwanda just switched over its official language to English very recently and very quickly. So it's really important for these people to learn English to succeed, because all the schools and everything are run in English now. And then the third one was an internship at the Kigali Health Institute, which one of our health science students actually participated in.
So ever since I was in elementary school and high school, that sort of thing, I've always wanted to travel, and kind of more than vacation-y trips, I have always been interested in social justice work, hence why I'm taking international relations. But I thought what was quite unique about Western is the fact that the opportunities to experience international programs or go abroad are just at your fingertips. They're so available to you. So I jumped at the opportunity to, in first year, go on Alternative Spring Break. It was something I always wanted to do. And then, yet again, there's funding for it. It was incredible. I normally wouldn't have been able to go on my own to Africa, but because of the funding that was provided and how easily accessible it was, I was able to do that. It's always been close to my heart, again, which is why I'm studying international relations. But having the hands-on experience is like nothing you can ever study in a textbook.
The course is fabulous, and it has nothing to do with my degree. It doesn't help me in my English or history really for any of that, but it's probably the best course that I've ever taken, and I really wanted to do it because I love to travel, and through my experience with ASB, I already had an idea of how much traveling and being in a different culture can help you learn in general. And with this course, you really have the book and the classroom learning, which is still important, and it still helps you in so many ways. And then to be able to apply that in such a unique experience and in such a unique and different place, I had the feeling that it was going to be an absolutely incredible experience that way.
There were definitely 2 highlights, I think, for me in Tanzania, one of which was definitely the culture change. It was so incredible to experience a different culture that I don't think you can really get other than kind of being thrown into the field. And it was that everything, that new language, the way people interact, the food, everything, and that was incredible. And that kind of ties into one of the biggest skills I think I took away was this sense of perseverance, because the culture was so different and because things were done so differently. You had to really kind of tackle things that I never thought I'd be able to really tackle before. So I kind of learned how to newly develop skills and really try to persevere in different ways.
That's probably one of the hardest things, because every time you think about it, you just go over everything, and every time a new situation arises here, you think of a different part there that was so important. One of the greatest experiences in terms of putting my knowledge to use, but also learning something so invaluable, was my placement at Gasimba teaching English. And it wasn't so much that going in and teaching English to the children, that we knew we were doing that, and we had an idea of what to expect. We knew that there was going to be cultural barriers. We definitely knew that there was going to be language barriers, and those were going to be hard to overcome. The really hard part came was when we got there and we realized that the teachers didn't know much more English than the students did. And so that was really a wake-up call, and something that we had to really be creative and really be flexible and really be open and understanding, to realize that we have to communicate with these teachers so that we could understand how we can help the students. And so it was kind of this two-part thing where it really highlighted what we had to learn and what we had to do.
Well, Western Hadith is definitely a very multidisciplinary program. I'm in international relations, so obviously that directly ties into the idea of empowering women and social justice. So that was directly related. But for example, of the multidisciplinary aspect of it, I'm not a business student, but here I was kind of producing business plans for them, doing SWOT analyses, that sort of thing. So I really learned skills that I haven't been able to learn academically in the university setting, but where I was able to put them into place in the field. And then also the people I met there hugely influenced my academic career, in a sense that I met a lot of international law students. I've always thought about going into law, but especially after meeting them, they were dealing directly with international law. It really made me reconsider, and I think that I will pursue law now.
It's really interesting because there's, I kind of look at it as 3 levels of the different things that I can bring back, and one is really specific. And so when I applied for Teachers College, I could actually say about the communication skills that it enhanced, and the way that it has to make you think outside the box and think of really creative solutions when you don't speak the same language as someone else, or you don't understand how a different system works, and you have to be flexible and things like that. So those specific skills are so applicable in absolutely everything. And generally speaking, the ability to work with people who are from somewhere else and who have different ideas, which are incredible to learn from, and things like that. And those can be applied so generally to every aspect of life. And realizing how important it is to get that hands-on knowledge with what you learn, and just coming back and I can take my courses now, and instead of just taking the course and when I'm finished, I'm done with it, it kind of makes you think, okay, what am I going to do with this? Or how can I take what I learned and apply it to something else? Because you realize when you go there and you apply your knowledge how helpful it can be, where sometimes it's hard when you're here to realize exactly what the effect of what you learn or the outcome of your skills can really be.
So I think it's very easy to be content with living in your little bubble, your little Western bubble, which is fine, but I think that if you're given and pursue an opportunity to go abroad, it's really going to question a lot of your values and belief systems, which I think is a good thing. And it's also just an entirely different way of learning. And then what I really like about the ASB program is the fact that, yes, it is only 1 week, but that week hopefully should act as a stepping stone that will lead on to other things, and that's kind of how I see the value in it. That's definitely how it was for me. I used that, and it really, really kind of made me motivated to do a similar experience, but more long-term.
Well, a lot of the reasons I already said is just the skills that you learn there are so much more enhanced when you do it in a different cultural setting. So when you're here and you're working with other people, you learn certain types of communication skills. But when you go somewhere else to a different country, even if they don't speak a different language, but especially if they do, it's different type of communication skills, and that includes all the other skills that you have to deal with. So it puts it on a whole nother level, and it also makes, from my perspective, it makes students more aware not only of what's going on in the world, which is really important, especially with how global the world is right now, that everyone realizes that things that happen in countries that are so far away affect us, and it's important to know what those things are and how they do affect us and what we can do to help or to change or to influence those type of things. So in a way, it kind of makes global awareness, it makes you more aware of things here as well, and it makes you more involved in your community and in your area and in your school, and it makes you want to do more, not only globally, but locally as well.